You hear the name Jio, and what comes to mind? For most of us, it's all about shaking up the telecom industry. But what happens when that same name, that same energy, is aimed squarely at the world of finance? Well, that's exactly what's happening. Reliance has spun off its financial arm, and believe me, it has everyone's attention. Let's dig in and find out why. So yeah, the name is suddenly everywhere in the financial news. Jio Financial Services this, Jio Financial Services that. But what is it really? Is it a new kind of bank? An investment company? Or is it something else entirely? That's the big question we're here to break down today. And to do that, we have to go way beyond the headlines. We're going to get our hands dirty, look at the actual numbers, the corporate structure, and the moves they're making right now to build a clear picture of what's really going on inside this new giant. First up, to figure out where Jio Financial is headed, you've got to understand where it came from. Because this story didn't just start last year. No, its roots go back decades. For more than 20 years, this was just a quiet little corner of the massive Reliance empire. Then, bam, 2023 happens, and everything changes with the demerger. But the real game changer? That was the final nod from the RBI in 2024. That was the official green light, the moment this company was truly let loose on the financial world. Okay, so it's officially a financial services company. But what does that actually mean? What does it do? Let's peel back the layers and see how this thing is actually built to operate. All right, the first thing you need to know is that JFSL is what's called an NBFC. Now, in simple terms, this just means it can do a lot of things a bank does, like offer loans and investments, but it doesn't have a full banking license. So, for instance, it can't issue checks drawn on itself. This classification is key because it gives them a ton of flexibility. And this is where their strategy gets really, really smart. See, Jio Financial Services itself isn't the company you'll be dealing with directly. Think of it as the parent company, the central brain, that owns and controls a whole family of other companies, each one designed to tackle a different piece of the financial world. And here they are, the kids. I mean, just look at the sheer ambition here. They're going after lending, insurance, payments, and even banking through a joint venture. This is not just some new company dipping its toes in the water. No, this is a full-on strategic plan to compete in the entire financial services landscape. Every single player in this space is now on notice. So a great plan is one thing, but do they have the financial muscle to actually pull it off? Okay, let's shift gears and look at the numbers, because they tell a pretty incredible story. Just take a second and let that number sink in. Nearly 2 lakh crore rupees. This isn't some small startup hoping to make it big. From the very first day it was listed, it was already one of the largest players in the entire market. That kind of scale gives it a level of instant credibility that most companies spend decades trying to build. Wow, this chart right here tells a story of just explosive growth. Look at that bar on the left, 49 crores in profit. Pretty good. Now look at the one on the right, over 1,900 crores just 1 year later. That isn't just growth, that's a rocket launch. It's the clearest sign you can get that they were gearing up to make some huge moves. And this might be their superpower. In the world of finance, which is literally built on debt, starting with a clean slate is a massive advantage. It means they can be aggressive, they can take risks, they can move incredibly fast, all without worrying about their own financial baggage. All right, so with a valuation this huge and a profile this high, it begs the question, who's actually behind it all? Who owns a piece of this pie? Let's take a look. So this chart tells us exactly who's betting on Jio Financial. The promoters from Reliance, of course, are all in, holding almost half the company. But look at the other slices. You've got major foreign and domestic institutions putting their money on the line. That's the so-called smart money, and it's a huge vote of confidence. And with about a fifth of the company owned by the public, it's clear that everyday investors are really excited about this too. And when we say public ownership, we mean it's incredibly widespread. Get this, we're talking about almost 44 lakh individual shareholders. That is a massive number, and it shows just how much interest there is from retail investors in the Jio story. It's one of the most widely held stocks out there. Okay, so we've covered the history, the structure, the money, and the owners. That's the foundation. But what's the company doing right now? Let's look at the latest news to get a feel for where they're headed next. These recent announcements show that they are not wasting a single second. I mean, partnering with a global giant like Allianz for insurance, that's a huge signal they're thinking big. Launching a digital savings account is their first major play for the everyday customer. And scheduling that board meeting for results, that's them saying, we're here, we're serious, and we are just getting started. So, what's the takeaway here? Well, when you put it all together, you've got a company with the backing of a titan, a mountain of cash, a digital-first mindset, and a clear plan to compete in every corner of the financial world. All the ingredients for a massive disruption are right there. The only question left is, what will India's financial landscape even look like when they're done?